how about a project, a garden project, which you can do easily by yourself, which doesn't cost a lot of money, which protects your plants, and the most important thing, blends so well with a natural landscape. We are talking about wattle fencing. Olga Carmody with you here, and I garden in coastal Connecticut. There is a practical reason why I decided to use wattle fence around my clematis. Clematis do love to grow with shady feet, right? They like shade on their feet. And here I had black-eye Susans growing, and they would give clematis shade, but they would almost do too much shade. They're tall and they will overpower clematis. So what I did here, I prepared the site. I cleared all the black-eye Susans out of there. I trimmed my boxwoods to give more space to my wattle fence for it to look good. And another thing why I'm doing this wattle fence around clematis is I want to put ashes around the root system of clematis. They do love sweet soil, high in alkalinity. pH is high, and our soil here in Connecticut is sour, is low pH, and this clematis is not doing very well in my garden. And when I go around, I don't really see successful gardens with clematis growing. So I'm changing the pH slowly. Last year I did several scoops of ashes. This year I'm going to add those ashes too, but they don't look really nice at the surface of the soil. So my wattle fence will shade the roots of clematis and also will hide my shenanigans, my ashes being thrown on the top of the soil. So what do you need for this project? For this project you would need good clippers, because you will be clipping a lot of wood. And my favorite clippers are Felco, and I'm using size 2 because I have big hand. Felco is a great company. They produce great garden tools. Highly recommend it. But if you have smaller hand, you can go for smaller Felcos, small trimmers. Now, the big thing about wood, you would need much more wood than you think you would. For example, here, after making so many projects, I still underestimated how many sticks I needed. So I went to the forest. I collected all the saplings. By the way, do it with the permission. And I brought them in, and oh my gosh, I really needed for this project, very small project, I needed 3 amounts of the sticks I brought from the forest. So what I did, how I solved the situation, we have maple trees growing in the front of our garden. We always trim the lower branches one by one, and here I took all the branches from maple tree and added to the pile. Now you would need 2 different types of wood for this. Vertical, heavier, kind of wider sticks. They are shorter. And they're approximately 1.5 feet. Gear for something like that. And be prepared that 1/3 will go into the soil. If your soil is very soft, you can do it manually, just pushing the stick in. But if your soil is very tough, full of stones, you would need to prepare maybe soil or have a hammer. Here I was using my wooden hammer and hammer those sticks in. At the back of my garden I have a short wattle fence, and through the winter, because it is laying at the path of raccoons, they just totally destroyed it. So I have to build it up again. And make sure that the end of the stick, which is going into the soil, is somewhat sharp. It's not dull, because you don't want to damage the roots of the plants near which you are going to plant to build this construction. Okay, and one more very important thing about these short sticks. Either you will put them inside out, or you may have to make sure that these sticks are dead and they are not fresh cut, because especially when you do this construction in spring, those fresh cut sticks will sprout, especially if you have a tree which is ready to regrow, you will have these leaves starting to grow on your fence, and you don't want that to happen. So those sticks would be from old wood. But when we are looking at the long sticks, which will go horizontally on the construction, those by all means, they have to be fresh and very fresh. Why is that? Because fresh sticks, they bend, they do not break. And here you need to do a lot of bending. And those sticks can't be really skinny. They have to be somewhat heavier. So make sure when you come back from wherever you're bringing your sticks, make sure that you use them in several days. Or if you cannot do that, what I do, I just put those sticks in the water, the bottom of the sticks, the fresh cut edge, and let them sit that way outside. I don't bring them into the warm garage. Let them sit outside in the cold night, have that water and not dry, because when sticks dry, when you do the bending, they snap and your project is not going to look very nice. So the distance between the vertical heavier sticks here is approximately 1 foot. It's easy to weave, and the weaving doesn't have to be very scientific. I went from left to right and from right to left. Just make sure that you're raising all the sides at the same level. As for the sticks, which do not want to stay in, they're not listening to you, just leave them. Make sure that you're building it up, your project, and then at the end, when everything is finished, just go ahead and clip those edges away. And then your construction is going to look nice and uniformal. There are different colors of sticks because they're coming from different trees. Right here I have 3 different types of sticks. I have sticks from my apple tree, I have lighter sticks from maple trees, and the bottom sticks are saplings from the forest. And you might say, oh my gosh, doesn't look really good, different colors, what is this? Don't worry, in several weeks the wood will start to dry, it will start aging into the same gray color. And it will look really well in the garden, because it's not that white plastic fence. It's just natural wood, and it has a beautiful effect. It just looks so natural in the garden. I love it. Every year the wattle fence sags approximately half a foot, so I'm suspecting the same thing will happen with this fence. I decided to keep the sticks a little bit higher, and no matter what you do, this project is very forgiving. It's not perfect, fine. It blends so well with the rest of the garden. And so after I finished this project, I looked at it, I really liked it, and I want to show you another side of the garden where I think this would be extremely successful. Come and we see. Please do disregard all the mess. I was cutting all the branches from our mulberry tree, which is right here on top. It really started to shade our garden, and I didn't like it because my beautiful generous gardener is right here, and it was shaded last year, didn't want to produce any flowers. So yesterday all the branches went down. But when we look closely to the edge of our stairs, you can see a little semi-shrub. It is Coreopteris. I gave it a trim this year, and it's 2nd year in the garden. And you know what? The traffic here is so big, coming from steps, that I'm always worried that somebody will just land on my Coreopteris, and that would be the end of this poor guy. He's all happy to produce new leaves. Oh, they started to grow. So what I decided to do, after my wattle project, I'm going to do the same treatment to this shrub. And the Coreopteris gets tall, you know, and this one is a variegated variety, so it has golden leaves and beautiful blue flowers. Just imagine how it is going to look with a wattle protection. Beautiful, like a big garden live cupcake. I love it. Okay, so when we would be walking in the garden next time, you will be probably seeing this wattle fence. My dear gardeners, happy gardening, and I will see you in our next video.